Attention Main Street entrepreneurs. If you're searching for brick and mortar small business advertising strategies, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Main Street Marketing Show, brought to you by Front Desk. It's time to learn the principles of Main Street marketing. And now, your host, author of the new book, Main Street Marketing, and co-founder of the Front Desk Small Business Marketing System, Tim Chermak.
Hey everyone, it's Tim Chermak here at the Main Street Marketing Podcast. I'm here with Allie Werder of the famous Allie J Boutique here in New London, Minnesota. Allie has been recently doing some really cool things with marketing, and she has a true brick and mortar small business, literally on Main Street. I mean, I'd say it's about the most stereotypical American Main Street business. I mean, you're in this small town, it's like less than 2,000 people. You're literally on Main Street, you're not on some off street, it's all these buildings, made of brick that are from the early 1900s. I mean, it's that stereotypical small business. And you've started doing some stuff, online too, but the core of the business is still, customers walking into your storefront. So that's really cool. And I know that you've been doing some very innovative things, whether it's a social media, videos on YouTube, photos. But first, we'll get into all that. And I know recently you actually ran a campaign where you got over 300 new customers, which is amazing. We'll get into that at the end. But first, tell me, how did you get into owning a small business?
Well, my story is kind of like a lot of ladies that I have met in the same kind of situation as I am in that I just started by wanting to do something while I was at home with my children. Okay. I wanted to do something that could get me out of the house, and I thought, hey, if I could make a little money doing it, all the better. So what I ended up doing is starting my own home party business where I would bring in a bunch of scarves to women's homes.
So who gave you the idea for that? Like, how did you think of that? Sure.
Well, I looked at a bunch of different other opportunities to do home party type businesses, and none of them really resounded with me. And at the same time, my sister, who is a bit of a traveler, had gotten back from a recent trip to New York, where she brought me back some beautiful pashmina scarves, and they had them on every street corner. And here, where I live, I tried finding some of these scarves, and I just couldn't find any in the area. And so I saw that there was a need for scarves in the area, and so I created kind of a business that not only provided a product, but a service, in that I learned how to tie them. I learned how to wear them with different outfits. So these home parties that I would do, and women's events eventually, they would have not only product for sale, but I would be there teaching the ladies how they can use the product. And
so you're almost like a consultant in a...
Absolutely, okay. Yes. So it was really a lot of fun for me to get out, and it was what I was imagining as far as doing something on the side to help out my family and also be able to explore my creative side with fashion.
So you didn't make, this huge 50-page business plan and go to the bank and get a loan or whatever. It was really more of like a lifestyle business?
It sure was, yes. I had a natural interest in it, which was the basis of my business. And it was something that I started off very small, and I could keep building up.
Yeah.
So I didn't do the traditional huge plan. I did have a small business plan in mind, which was...
How many pages was it?
Oh, probably 3.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was just... I am a free spirit, so that was solely because my husband asked me to do one.
That was just to make him feel better. Yes. You put a little bit of thought into it.
Exactly. But I'm just the go-getter type, so I just thought, yeah, I can do this.
So really blunt question. What was your immediate financial goal? Is this something where I want to make an extra $500 a month or an extra $100 a month? Or where did you actually see this going?
Right. I thought to myself, if I could make an extra $300 a month to help out the family, just so I could have a little bit of spending money, which I would probably end up spending on the kids anyway.
Of course.
But I just thought to myself, you know what, $300 sounds good. That sounds like a nice little help out for the family.
And you can still be a mom then.
Exactly. Okay. Yes.
So that was really what kind of gave you the inspiration to do all this, is how can I make some money without like actually getting a job?
Exactly.
God forbid I get a job.
Yes. And that just, being home full time with kids, every mom can understand that gets just a little overwhelming. And I really wanted something that I could just get out and be with women. I've always had a passion to be an encouragement to other women, whether it's, people from school when I was growing up, or other people at church or wherever I'm at. I just always have this desire to always be an encouragement to other women. So that was a way that I felt like I could leave these home parties feeling like I did that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily about the money as much as it was just, it's something you wanted to do.
Right. And the making a little money was just kind of a bonus.
Yeah, sure. So did you like go to school for entrepreneurship, or did you have like a family background in, business? Or, I mean, what like led up to this point of launching your own business? Right.
Well, for me, it was definitely a roundabout process, because I grew up thinking that I definitely wanted to do something in the medical field, or something with nutrition, or something along those lines. And that's what I started going to college for.
Okay.
But I quickly realized that I didn't have the passion in those classes. I mean, I would go to organic chemistry lab, and it was such a chore to me, but I'd be the best dressed one in OChem. so I think
Which is all that matters. I mean, in OChem, you just have to be the best dressed.
I know, it's a shame you have to cover up that lab coat. But
you could accessorize with a scarf.
You definitely could. Okay. Yep. So I think that my real, true underlying passions were always there. I just didn't really realize them, I don't think, for quite a while. And I also didn't know how to take those and put them into action. So in those years, I thought that going for a business degree sounded pretty boring. And yet now I know about myself, I probably really would have loved it. So, and I had just recently written a blog post about myself growing up. And the two things that I think my parents probably saw in me were that I really like to teach. And then I really was a natural seller. I would go to Bible camp and learn how to create jewelry. And then I would take that, and I was so excited to go back to school, because I would take orders from my classmates and I would make them jewelry, and I would come back and sell it on the playground. Just silly things like that.
Cash deals, no taxes.
No taxes. Nope, straight up. Yep. And they could bargain. They could bargain with me if they wanted to.
But they would lose.
They probably would.
You always drove a hard bargain, I imagine.
I showed them the value of the product.
Yeah, value, not price.
Exactly.
Price.
Exactly.
There you go. So tell me about what your business looks like now, because, you started doing kind of the women's events, women's kind of home parties, selling scarves. What's it look like right now?
Right now, it's pretty big. And, sometimes I stop and look back and I think, how did we, come this far? But it was just small choices, very consistently that has brought us here. But now, right here on Main Street, we own 2 shops. And with different goals and different style to them. So going from the home parties, which I ended up, doing 2 or 3 events a week, leading up to opening up the shop. But it's just a very different, I have a different mindset now with it. I've seen some things and I've seen some growth, and now a lot more seems possible to me. And I'm realizing that how much I love it. So. Okay.
I mean, how many employees do you have? How big is the town you're in? I mean, like, how do you compare to other similar businesses maybe across the country? I mean, obviously you're a small business. This is the Main Street Marketing Show. But how small of a business are you?
Well, we've right now currently on the payroll there are 12 employees,
Okay.
including 2 full-time, and then myself. I'm also, well, beyond full-time, but and then part-time staff as well.
Okay.
And 1 full-time that specifically works with our marketing and our social media.
Okay.
So
how much have you used social media? Because I know a lot of small business owners, think that, okay, we've got to use social media because that's the cheapest way to get our name out there. That's the cheapest way to spread the message. And I know that you've actually been very, very successful with social media, while most businesses are just just trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? Do we post pictures, videos, 10% off coupons? What do we actually do to get business from social media?
Right. Social media has been a total learning process for me. I did realize the benefits of being on social media, but probably the first 2 years of business, I was thinking the same thing. When do I do things? How do I post things? And I guess now we've just kind of grabbed onto the concept of it's a bonus that it is free to sign up to be on some of these social media sites, but we are really learning how to utilize them in our marketing strategies so that we can really get our story out, get our vision out of the shop, give a little piece of ourselves out on social media to intrigue people, to get them to see a part of us and see our bigger goal for our shop.
Okay, so right before we get into that, what the bigger goal for your shop is. I mean, what do you actually sell here? Do you have? I mean, is it jeans, denim? I mean, what does the Allie J Boutique actually sell? What are your kind of flagship products?
Allie J Boutique, we say, is classy, vintage, and sweet in style. So we focus a lot on dresses. We focus a lot on pretty sweaters and coats and
pretty sweaters.
Yes, pretty.
Not the ugly ones.
Not yeah. We try and stay away from the ugly ones.
Don't specialize in ugly sweaters. Just mostly the pretty ones.
Somebody could take that idea and run with it, though. So. Our typical customer is a person coming in looking for a dress for an event or a new outfit that they can wear to work, or some of those standout pieces that they wouldn't find in your typical department stores. They are really looking for something unique, and they're also looking for somebody to help them put it all together.
Okay. I mean, what is the typical transaction size of the Allie J Boutique? Do you have ladies coming in here spending $500, or is it smaller than that? I mean, I know you're a small business, but again, how small of a Main Street business are you? Right.
Typically, we're probably right around the $50 mark for a typical transaction.
You're a true small business.
We are.
Usually people aren't walking out the door with a receipt of hundreds of dollars.
No, it happens, but that's more when a gal comes in and she realizes that she really loves our service and she wants to use us and use our time and really grab a whole new season's wardrobe is when that happens. But typically it's pretty smaller transactions.
Okay. What is working well for you right now in terms of marketing? Because I know, in the overall area, you are known as kind of a savvy small business marketer. What's working well for you right now?
Well, I am loving our new process of measuring our marketing. It's working really well for us to put out an offer to our customers that they can't refuse, and then backing that up with excellent customer service and really focusing on creating the atmosphere that they want to come back to again and again.
What do you see as the best way of competing against the online companies? For you, it's probably not Amazon.com, but that's what everyone thinks of.
Sure.
Because clearly clothing is something that you can purchase online. It's not difficult to buy online. What do you do to combat that and get customers to shop with you here in store?
So competing the store with online?
Yeah, I mean, against the competition that you could go. I mean, I guess I don't actively follow like clothing for women, but that's probably a good thing. But I mean, what do you do to kind of differentiate the experience of shopping at Allie J Boutique from being able to find that same item online somewhere, maybe for cheaper?
Right.
Or maybe not for cheaper, I don't know.
Right. Here in store, our focus is so much on meeting the customer at their need. We get all kinds of different needs, ranging from a gal coming in for a gift for somebody else to really wanting to change their whole view of how they use fashion. And so in the store, what they're going to get is a personalized experience. They're going to get the attention that they can't get, obviously, when they are in front of a computer screen. And they're going to have the chance to really use us, use our knowledge base, use our obsession with fashion and to their benefit. And they can walk out the door with a lot fewer questions on that purchase. They can be a lot more confident that they're going to be using these items, and we have taught them how they can use these items in their own closet.
So what's like the big picture? What's the vision for Allie J Boutique? I mean, you probably never would have dreamt that when you first started hosting these women's parties and events, selling scarves, that now you've got this massive storefront. I mean, how many square feet do you have in your shop?
This one is 2,800.
2,800?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, you've got, a dozen employees. You've got 2 full-time employees. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you didn't necessarily plan that out. Like, here's my 3-year goal. Here's my 5-year goal. Here's my 10-year goal.
Right.
What's next? I mean, what is your vision? Where do you want to be as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, let's say 5 years from now?
Well, 5 years from now, I can envision that we will have other locations besides this one on Main Street, but I definitely want to make that a process of finding the right spots for the next Allie J Boutique storefronts. It's going to take a lot to match what we've got going on here on Main Street, so I could definitely see that happening. And then online, we are really trying to create a more of an experience online. So somehow we can take what we are successful at here in the shop and the customer service and all of the attention that the gals get and somehow transfer that into online sales so that we can really keep in contact with customers, give them a bit of ourselves, show them what it's like here in the shop online, and hopefully they can feel like they have that connection with us as well online.
So it sounds like that's something you're actually starting to explore right now. You don't have that all mapped out yet.
We don't. And I think that I'm very much of a try person. I want to just get out there. I want to start something and try it. And it's okay if it fails. I'm going to try something else. But that is going to be a process. Because
Sure.
we would be in front of, our audience would be behind a computer screen. So how can we, try and keep up that close contact with those customers in that kind of a situation? So
Yeah. What do you see as the biggest mistake made by like the brick and mortar small business owners, whether it's retail or professional services? Mm-hmm. What do you see as the biggest mistake made by small business owners when it comes to marketing?
Doing something over and over again, even though it's not working, just because everybody says that that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
So, I've heard of examples around here where people just start, using one medium for their marketing, and they continually use that medium, even though they can't even measure the results coming back. And that was what was really frustrating for quite a while for me, was that I couldn't measure some of these advertising opportunities, and so I don't know how to say that. So
not measuring the marketing, you think, is probably where most people go wrong?
Well, I think so, because there's so much, it's such a big expense on a business if you don't have a way that actually works and actually produces results, and you can measure those results.
You can track it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can track it.
So what is the big vision for what you want to accomplish beyond necessarily revenue or sales?
Okay.
You had mentioned to me that you really want to empower ladies and encourage. What does that look like beyond the actual retail shopping experience? What's your passion there?
Well, the word that we have going for us now is embrace. And we have created an embrace program, but it's really the word of the year for us. We are...
And that's essentially kind of like a customer VIP program, right?
Right. Yes. It's a way for us to really keep in contact with our customers by giving them tips, sending them information, giving them a little bit to spend when they've spent a certain amount.
Sure.
And so, but we were calling it our Embrace program, which kind of goes off of our theme of embracing your God-granted style, which is a logo that we have going on here, which essentially means you are your own person. There's nobody like you. How can we help you embrace that?
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned too on your website too, it's also cool that you're willing to admit that even though you're a retail store has been very successful. I mean, especially for being in a small town brick and mortar. I mean, how many people are in your town?
Well, right in New London, I'm not actually sure. It's around 2,000.
Yeah, so I mean, 2,000, and you have a Main Street women's retail business, with a dozen employees, which is awesome. But you're willing to admit that, even with the online retail portion of it, you're still trying to experiment and figure things out. You're not necessarily an expert on that.
No. I see this all as a learning process, and I think that's a big key, because if I would have known what I would need to learn in order to be even where I am today, I don't know if I would have taken the chance and taken that leap.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it, but the reality is I've learned it, I've done it. There's so many resources out there to learn how to run a successful small business. You just, I guess, have to be willing to put yourself out there and then learn as you go.
How did you learn what you know now, about whether it's managing a small business or marketing or advertising? I mean, you didn't go to college for business, so did you just read books or read Inc. magazine or something? I mean,
yeah.
Where did all that knowledge come from?
Lots and lots of books.
Okay.
Definitely. I am an input person, so I love getting that information. I seek it out. I try to seek out people in my field that are doing a fantastic job with it. But beyond that, I just see it very important to seek out knowledge from people who are doing things the way that you want to eventually do them. So, there's a lot of information out there, so narrowing it down is really important. Finding those people that can kind of act like a mentor to you, even though they don't know they're your mentor. I have certain people in my life that I really look to for different business strategies. And so it's been a lot of my own personal seeking out and growth.
Sure. What's the best piece of advice anyone ever gave you on small business?
The best piece of advice. There's so many. You know what? It probably does have to just go down to make sure what you are going to do is truly your passion. Because if you don't have that, there's going to be certain times when you're just going to give up. You need to, hang on to that vision that you have, that passion, or else the daily things or the different things that you don't know or the different things that are thrown at you might cause you to stop in your tracks and give up. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing.
Okay. What would you say are just one or two really impactful books that you've read that really helped you see things in a different way for your business?
Probably How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
And let's see here.
Which is not a marketing book, but it's really a marketing book.
It is. I mean, just interacting with people, and I really enjoy learning how different personalities interact in different situations, and I could probably take tons of classes just on that subject alone. And then another book, let's see here. That's kind of my one that I go back to a lot. I don't know. I don't know if I can think of another one right now. Let me think. It's funny because titles escape me, even though I read a ton of books.
Which like marketers do you follow, or which business thinkers or experts do you follow?
Well, I'm in about 3 books by Seth Godin right now. Because I can't seem to just stay in one. I am intrigued by the next one and the next one.
Yep.
So Seth Godin's work, and Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary V. Yep. And Dave Ramsey's EntreLeadership stuff.
Okay.
Awesome. I really tap into that too.
Now you told me, I think it was last week that we talked that on your website, beyond just you saying, hey, here's who I am, I started this business, you actually list here's my measurements, here's what I I feel like that's pretty bold. What gave you the idea to do that, and why is that so outlandish for your industry?
Well, in a practical sense, it made sense for us to do it because when you're shopping online, you see a model and you have no idea if you are anywhere near her size. Typically not in lots of different online sites. But we just wanted to give people a chance to possibly be able to think of that item in terms of their own body shape. So for us to put our measurements out there and our size and everything, there might be some gals out there that can relate to one of us. And then whenever, let's say Katie, if they're Katie's size, whenever Katie is wearing something, that they are really intrigued by that item because Katie can wear it, I can wear it, kind of a thing. So that's the practical side of it. But yes, as far as putting ourselves out there like that, I think that it would be a double standard if we didn't put ourselves out there and then expect others to come in and shop with us, tell us about their story, tell us their size, their shape. And if we're really truly going off this idea of embracing women for who they are, then it just makes sense that we, will put ourselves out there and show people that we embrace ourselves too. So
it's not really just a marketing campaign, but I would say it is brilliant marketing because, I see that so many small businesses, the hugest potential advantage they have is creating that personal connection with their customers.
Right.
That you could never get with, say Amazon.com. You're not going to see the measurements of the call center employees at Amazon.com.
Right.
So that's a huge advantage, and it sounds like you're really, really taking advantage of that. And that to me seems, maybe a huge part of why you've been so successful as a small business owner. You don't just have some clothing out on the racks and people buy it, and if it's a good price, they buy it. If it's a sale, they buy it. If not, they, keep moving. You've kind of created that culture and that brand, So what does the word brand mean to you in the context of Allie J Boutique?
It means to me, the word brand, it means that when a gal thinks of the phrase Allie J Boutique, that it comes along with that sense of a personal stylist.
Okay.
So it comes along with pretty, sweet, cute clothing that they can purchase alongside of having that customer service that they couldn't have by just going into a department store or somewhere else where they just have clothing that they offer.
Okay. So what would you say has been the most effective thing you've done to Allie J Boutique to fight like the price wars and fight that tendency of consumers now, to price check everything online, and they walk in and find, I don't know, a dress they love in your store, and they immediately pull out their iPhone and look, okay, can I get this cheaper online? You've been very successful, Gloria. So what have you done to kind of fight that tendency for people to just shop on price?
I think the value that we add to it by just providing the customer service that we have here, because you're right, you can go online, you can find different items that catch your eye, but there are so many women that come in and shop with us that don't have that natural knack for fashion. They want to look stylish, they want to have the look, but they don't have that natural ability to put things together. Sure. So for a gal like that, she can go online, she can purchase something, she'll get it shipped to her home, but what is she going to do with it then? Is she going to actually wear it? Is she going to pair it with things in her closet? So for here, if there is an item that is a different price elsewhere, what you'd be missing out in purchasing it elsewhere is that personal touch that we have with that item, and that knowledge that we can give to the customer on actually how to wear it, how to use it, how to incorporate it into their closet.
What's the biggest mistake that you've made in starting and running your small business?
Oh, let's see here.
Should say too, we have no notes here, so we are winging it on this interview.
The biggest mistake, I'm trying to narrow it down. Like, seriously.
This is raw and unscripted.
Yes, I am seriously trying to narrow it down. There's been quite a few mistakes when I look back.
What's the most expensive mistake?
The most expensive mistake was probably, trying to incorporate a children's section into Allie J Boutique. So I think the mistake was trying to have too broad of a market for one shop, because it just didn't happen to work for us, and we had to essentially clear it out, and we ended up donating the items, which was just fine, but we figured out that it was just too broad of a market for what the vision was for Allie J Boutique. Okay, so let's transition into talking about something that definitely wasn't a mistake for you in terms of your business and marketing. Okay. A couple weeks ago, you ran a campaign using Front Desk. Yes. And you brought in, was it 325? Is that 325 new contacts.
Yeah, and prior to this, you didn't really have a database of customers. You didn't really have a customer list.
We did not.
You'd been doing a pretty good business. You had plenty of customers that were clearly coming in and, buying clothing, but you hadn't really done anything to capture their contact information. Right. Tell me about that campaign and the event that you drove people to.
Sure. So when we first used Front Desk for a campaign, we got really excited about the prospect of being able to measure who's going to come, who our customer base would be for this event. So we put out a video using Front Desk, and that was our personal touch on the process. And we put out an offer that they couldn't refuse, and we did a fashion show. Gals from all over came in.
And now this was a live in-store event, right?
Live in-store event. Yes, we set up a stage. We set up 100 chairs, and then we even had overflow beyond that. And we had 8 models. And
this is all in a town of 2,000 people.
Yes.
Right.
So we literally had that situation where there were ladies lining up down the sidewalk, waiting to get in and waiting for us to open the doors as if we were in a big city. It was great.
Yeah, and you're in an area where so few people live there that the high school has to combine multiple cities.
That's right.
Just to have enough students per grade. It's not New London High School, it's New London Spicer High School, where you have to have a combined high school. So you have this in-store live fashion event, and there's ladies in a line outside the door.
Yes.
How many people came that night?
We ended up counting 130.
Awesome.
that came to the event.
Awesome.
Yes.
130 people in a town of about 2,000-ish.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you had 325 people opt into the ad. Can you tell me about what the actual ad looked like? It was on Facebook, right?
Yes. So we put the link over on Facebook, and we instantly started getting a response. It was so exciting to see how it just attracted people's attention. But we did put on Facebook as well, we put a personal touch on there. And so Facebook was kind of the filter through which we used, and then directed them over to front desk where we could give them an offer.
Okay. Now on Facebook, your ad cost, was it $100 you spent?
Yes.
So it wasn't just an organic Facebook post. You spent $100 to boost your post, on a paid Facebook ad. And with that $100, you brought in over 300 customers that actually gave you contact information.
Correct.
And I see that as the key, because if you had, convinced a bunch of ladies to come to this fashion event, which sounds like it was amazing, by the way, because anytime a small business can pack 130 people into their store, yes. I mean, that's incredible. You should win some type of prize for that, but that's awesome. But more importantly, for the long term of your business, with a simple $100 Facebook ad, because you basically just filmed a video right on your iPhone, right?
Yes.
And that was the ad. I mean, you didn't hire a graphic designer or something to make some sweet looking advertising. I mean, it was just a video you filmed on your iPhone, and you said, "Hey ladies, here's our fashion event. See you on, was it next Friday night?" Whatever it was.
Yes.
And you got 325 people to sign up.
Yes.
Then you drove them to a landing page you made with front desk, and basically they opted in with their name, email. And then you told them you would mail them a coupon. Is that what you did?
Yes. So
what was what was the reasoning behind why you did that?
Well, we really wanted to be able to send them a coupon in the mail, old-fashioned, to create that connection with them. I feel like I love getting things in the mail, and I think that a lot of people like that when it's a good thing that you can get in the mail. So we wanted to just personalize it more by sending them an actual coupon that we wrote out, and we put it in snail mail.
Snail mail.
Snail mail.
The brand new secret weapon, snail mail. this up and coming marketing tactic. Right. So out of 325 people that signed up, just from this Facebook ad, you actually got 130 to come to the live event. That's incredible. I mean, usually for live events, if you can get 10%, or if you're lucky, 20% of people to come to an event,
right,
that's considered good. So I mean, if you had 300 some people sign up, you'd have been lucky to get 50 people there. Yeah. So that's awesome. 130 people. How many sales did you do for that night?
In number?
Yeah.
We ended up having $7,500 in sales.
Awesome. So you essentially spent $100 on a Facebook ad, built a contact list, a customer database, over 300.
Yep.
And drove almost $7,500 in sales. From a $100 Facebook ad.
Correct.
Plus the postage. How much did you spend on postage?
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't know. What's the math on that?
Probably $100.
Probably about $100.
Okay, so the total thing cost you $200 then. Yep. Awesome. What do you see as the biggest value in that campaign? Was it the fashion event itself? Was it the $7,500 of sales you did that night alone, or was it like the long-term value of that contact list or that customer list?
The from the night itself, I mean, just the atmosphere that we were able to create here for our customers, in that we gave them something fun. We gave them something valuable, because we gave them a lot of tips that night on how to utilize clothing in their closets and that kind of a thing. But really the goal was to create that long-term ability to keep in contact with them.
Yeah.
The sales, yeah, that was great, but that's not usually where my mind goes. I'm always thinking about, did that person feel uplifted? Was I able to serve them? Do they feel like they're going to be able to go back to their friends and family and tell them about this positive experience that they had here? And so it's much more of a long-term vision of staying in contact with the customer and being able to serve them, not only now, but in the future, that I focus on.
And isn't it funny how if you focus on that, the numbers just have a way of like working out?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what are your plans, with that customer list? Because obviously now if you have over, 300 people in your database on Front Desk, you can send them emails, you can do events in the future.
Yes.
What do you see as the value in actually having a customer list now in terms of what you can do from a marketing perspective that you couldn't do before without that list?
Right. Well, before it was always this question of, we have this idea to do this great event, or we have this new product, or we have this new something to offer the customers, but what's the best way to tell them about it? And you can always, throw things up and hope people see it. But having Front Desk and having their actual contact information now gives me that assurance that when I am trying to be in contact with them, I can actually get through to them. And we can also, create this opportunity to really treat that customer as on a one-to-one basis.
Sure.
So we can really get to know them. We can serve them much better.
So what's like your follow-up plan? I mean, give me some trade secrets of what you're doing on the back end once you get a customer to sign up on an ad from Front Desk or whatever. Once you get a customer into your database, what's the plan look like to kind of cultivate them and increase that average customer value? I mean, are you sending out emails every day? Are you sending out emails every month? What do you put in the emails? Is it just, coupons for 10% off or something? Or are you sending them videos or photos? Or what does that kind of follow-up content marketing strategy look like for you?
Right. For us, it's really giving them tips and giving them value as far as, just offering them more of ourselves. We have created a blog on the website, and so we are putting up there snippets of our shop life. We are putting up there little bits of, I'm even putting up some of my home things from my personal life.
Okay.
And we are creating some fun videos, we're creating some serious videos. But really the goal is to give a part of ourselves, and in hopes that people that shop with us will feel comfortable to come in and give us a part of them so that we can help them.
Okay, so I mean, you're really almost you're on this mission of encouraging women, and oh, by the way, we happen to sell clothes too.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. What worked best for you in terms of marketing before you kind of started using Facebook or Front Desk? I mean, what were you doing before that? And
before
I should say,
Facebook.
what was it working?
I don't think so. I mean, before Facebook, before I started really utilizing Facebook, I really just would set up shop, kind of.
Okay.
That's what I felt like. It's just kind of opening the doors and trying to see who would come in, which did work in a certain sense. But the reality is, it makes me wonder, looking back and thinking, what have I missed out on, though? Because
Sure.
I don't know if that customer came back again. I don't know if they feel like they had a connection with us here at the shop. So it was just kind of a big question mark before,
Yeah. So now that you've started using Front Desk and kind of started measuring your marketing, what does it feel like to, what does it feel like to be in control and kind of know that when I do this, this is going to happen?
I love it. I love being in control. No, I know, right? It's just, it makes sense. It finally makes sense to, it just is a relief, because now I don't feel like I am just throwing things out into the wind and wondering afterwards if it really worked or not. So I think for me, I feel smarter about my marketing, and I feel like I don't have as much worry about that, that part. And I feel encouraged that we can use this plan, and really the customer will hopefully feel like we are doing what our goal is, and that is encouraging them.
Yeah, awesome. You mentioned having an irresistible offer earlier. What does that look like to you, and what do you mean when you say it's important to have an irresistible offer?
Well, in the case of our campaign that we did for the fashion show, we did something we'd never done before. We put out a 50% off one item coupon, anything in the store, nothing counted out. So for us, that was big, and we really had to just think about what would be an offer that we couldn't refuse.
Okay.
And so
you kind of asked yourself.
We asked ourselves, would we respond to this? Would that be something that we definitely would not want to miss out on? And it turns out that was key to it. And so having an offer that you can't refuse is the only way to really drive that interest that you're looking for. That's what we learned.
You've said that you've kind of experimented in the past with 15% off or 20% off. Did that work to drive sales?
No.
No,
not for us here. And that was always so frustrating, because it was something that was our go-to. Like if a product wasn't moving, we'd just think, go ahead and discount it. Or, but what we were missing was, if something isn't moving, our thought should be more of how can we add more value to it, and
not just decrease the price.
Exactly. And since our market is boutique shopping, people that come in to shop aren't necessarily looking for that deal all the time, but what they are looking for is that one-on-one attention. And so for us, we have just flipped our mindset in that sense. So it's not, not driven by, little discounts here or there. It's really more of how can we add more value to this product, and how can we teach the customer that it could be valuable to them.
So value, not price.
Correct.
What do you see as the difference between value and price? I mean, if you were to go teach a high school business class, what would you tell them on the difference between value and price? Because that's something I see as being so important for small business owners to understand.
Right.
Because typically kind of the status quo for most small business brick and mortar entrepreneurs is, if we want to create, a surge of business, let's just start discounting stuff,
Yes.
But then you give away all your margin, so it's kind of a catch-22.
It is. Yes.
How have you been successful here at Allie J, selling value, not selling price?
Right. Well, value to me is it's a personal thing, because it means you're trading something for something that you think is worth it. So if an item is $20, you find that item worth your $20. It's got $20 worth of value to you. And so for us here, if you have an item and it's priced a certain way, and you could maybe go and find somewhere else and find the same price with it, what value do you have for coming and buying it from here? So value isn't just the number on an item. Value comes with learning how to use that item, learning how that item would be something that the customer would look, down the road and say, I'm happy that I purchased that. It holds that value to me. So as far as value goes, I think when we started to flip our mindset into that, it made a lot more sense to us as to why sales never worked.
So you weren't always doing this?
No, we weren't. I mean, we probably were to a certain extent, but in those moments when things weren't working, when a product wasn't moving or something, that's where we went wrong. And we decided to discount or change change the price when really we should just show the value.
Yeah. And you found too that when you started doing all these discounts that you kind of just trained people to only shop when you had a sale going on.
Yes.
Is that something that you saw as hurting you?
We did, because you never, in retail it's funny because you put your product out there and you never quite know what somebody is going to grab onto. Sometimes we stylists here, we get a product in and we think it's the best thing ever. It's going to go, it's going to fly off the shelf, and then it just sits there. So you'd never quite know what somebody is looking for when they come into the shop. So to have the first response be to discount things, it wasn't factoring that into the equation. So it's when we created discounts or sales and had them at a regular basis, people would come in and we'd find that, that item that we thought should be discounted, I guess they love that. Now I just missed out on all that margin. So, I guess giving your product more of a chance to show itself and adding the value of that product by working with it and using it and showing the customer how they could use it in their closet is a much better strategy than just slashing through the prices. So,
would you say that in your experience at the Allie J Boutique, is marketing in a small business context, is marketing an art or is marketing a science?
That's deep.
Deep.
Right? Okay, tell me more what you mean by that, an art or a science. Like science is measurable and an art is more freeform?
I mean, I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, honestly, but have you found that, it's something that you can run quantifiable tests and that, 1 + 1 = 2, or is it something that kind of more involves your creativity? Or, what does that mix look like for you?
Okay, it's definitely a mix, I think, because the art side of it is with the display and the product and all of that kind of thing. And I fully feel like I'm an artist here at the shop.
Okay.
We create areas of display. We show people how to create these outfits, and that side of it is completely an art to me. But what I'm learning about the science of business is that you can have a certain level of measurable data that you can go off of. You can, say if I do A plus B, typically I'll get C out of that. So it probably is using two different parts of my brain in that sense. But especially with now our new marketing plan, that gives us the opportunity to really have some data in front of us and measure some things. I can see how, owning a small business can definitely have that science part to it too.
Sure. So that being said, what's your next big marketing idea?
Well, we are really doing videos now, different theme videos. We're so excited about it. We put one up and we thought to ourselves, I don't think this qualifies as work. Like, this is so fun. So what we're doing is putting out there little parts of shop life. And in this, way, we're really hoping that people grab onto it. They have a reason to come back and check our blog / our website / our products, because they want to see what's next. What are these girls up to next? Whether it's a funny video or whether it's truly from my heart or different scenarios that we put ourselves into. And so that is our whole next plan. And we're going to be stretching ourselves and putting ourselves out there. But in reality, that's what we're asking for our customers to do in response to us. So we're really willing to take the time to make these videos to put ourselves out there.
So it's really a lot of content marketing then. It's not just, hey, here's our logo, here's our website, please go buy stuff. It's you're filming videos. They're just kind of fun. Maybe sometimes they're serious. What would be an example of like a recent video or a photo you've taken or something that you think worked really well?
A recent one that we just did it was kind of goofy, but we actually saw a measurable response out of it on our website. So we were trying to drive more traffic to our website so that people can check out the experience that we have going on there. So we created a video where instead of the phrase our website, so as in come visit our website, we would say www.alijboutique.com very fast over and over. And
so it's like subliminal messaging that's not so subliminal.
Right. And so we kept a straight face the entire time, and we walked around town, and we got other business people involved in our video. And so we would chat with them, and we would ask them, have you visited www.alijboutique.com? And they would reply with, no, actually have not yet been to www.alijboutique.com.
Well, why have you not visited www.alijboutique.com?
Exactly. Okay. Yes. So that really did bring people to www.alijboutique.com. And that will be a series of videos, and we have others in our bag of tricks
to drive people to www.alijboutique.com.
Yes.
And and in all seriousness, you said you actually saw a measurable increase in traffic.
Absolutely, yes.
Because I think sometimes what can be discouraging or confusing with using content marketing and, using social media is that it kind of has this connotation of just being a bunch of fluff. It's just stuff you do that maybe it's cool, but it didn't actually drive business. So you said that when you post videos like this, that one that you could see an uptick in the actual measure of traffic to the website.
Yes, definitely. We had just as we had even more views on our website than when we launched.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
awesome.
That was great.
And you're using right now at least Facebook. What other mediums of marketing are you using?
For social media?
Sure.
In social media, we have a YouTube channel,
okay,
it's kind of a mix of old school and new, because that's what I had when I was back selling my scarves. I had a YouTube channel to teach people how to tie, because I'd do these home parties and these women's events, and I would teach the ladies how to tie scarves, and then they would come back and email me and ask, how did you do that again? So I created a YouTube channel.
Even back then, it wasn't necessarily you were buying low and selling high, and it was just a product. It was really you were selling expertise.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've kind of kept that same mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, YouTube, and then we are on Pinterest, which is huge for style and for women, and then we are on Instagram, and we do some with Twitter. And so that's the social media side to our business, which is the majority. And we also obviously do email.
Okay.
So
what does your email marketing strategy look like? Is that something where you're sending emails every day or every week or every month? Or
no, we try to, when we send out an email, we also do that litmus test of asking ourselves, would this be an email that I would want to receive, and would I open it?
Okay.
So we really try and do it when we have something really valuable to offer the customer, in tips or in different funny things that happen here at the shop, different things that really that they would want to open, and they would, after reading it, they would say that was worth me reading.
Okay.
So
okay, obviously different types of marketing, whether you're talking about for a locally owned, like brick and mortar small business, whether it's radio advertising, newspaper advertising, direct mail, the Facebook ads. There's really no right or wrong. I mean, certain ads and certain campaigns can work in anything. I think that's why it's so important to use software like Front Desk, so you can kind of measure, okay, we spent $100 here. How many new dollars of sales did we generate? Did that $100 bring in 200? Did it bring in 700? Did it bring in 50? So we lost money,
Right.
But what for you has not worked? Like, what type of advertising has not worked for you?
For me, well, I don't know if it worked, and that's probably the same as not working, because in my mind, if I can't see that it's working, it's not worth it to me.
Sure.
I guess. But we ended up doing some radio ads, and we had them out on a regular basis.
Okay.
And that ended up, I couldn't measure. I couldn't measure any, sales coming in from that.
Okay.
From that medium. So
measuring it is really important. You just really didn't know.
No, I mean, you can ask people, did you hear my radio ad?
And they're like, maybe? Question mark?
Have it be a part of our process and ask everybody that comes through the door. You can't really, you can't do that. You never really know. No. And I used to think, well, I'm just going to have them out there just so that people can hear my name and all that branding.
Yeah. So you kind of said that in a negative sense, all that branding. Yeah. Well, it's not, you can't measure it. I don't know. It's important, but you can't measure it.
Right. So I guess I'm much more of a person that I just like to see some type of results. I am adventurous in trying things, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to actually see that it's actually working and be able to measure that it's working. So there's two sides to me.
Okay, one last question.
Sure.
This show is probably being listened to by small business owners of every different type of business.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're financial advisors, plumbers, real estate agents. Maybe there's some clothing stores out there that are listening to this and stealing all your ideas.
Yeah, right.
Used car dealers, restaurants, everything.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the best marketing advice that you could give a fellow small business owner? Something that you've learned along your journey, through experience. What's the best advice that you could give someone for marketing?
Oh, it's a big question. I think that the best advice would be to use marketing in order to get your vision across in a way that you can actually see the results, not only seeing them from a financial perspective, but also seeing results from your actual customer base, in that they feel like you have served them. They feel like they had a fantastic experience with you, and that you feel like you can maintain that contact with them through these different marketing avenues that you take.
Awesome. So it's really not about the numbers for you. It's awesome.
It's all about the customer. It's all about serving and and just doing what we can here to make sure that their positive experience is something that they will remember, and they will then come back and let us hopefully help them again.
And if you do that, the profit just usually finds a way of being there.
That's right. Yep, it's the byproduct, and it works.
It works. Awesome. Well, we're out of time right now. If you're hearing this, if you liked what you heard, if you want to find out more about the marketing software that Allie used to create her first measurable marketing campaign, the advertisement that you spent $100 on,
yes, and
brought in over 325 new customers that ended up driving sales at an event upwards of $7,000. If you want to find out more about that software, it's called Front Desk. You can check out www.tryfrontdesk.com. That's www.tryfrontdesk.com. And after you're done trying Front Desk, check out www.allijboutique.com. Because if you want to buy clothes, you have to go to www.allijboutique.com. Right, Ellen?
Yes, www.allijboutique.com.
Why would you not shop at www.allijboutique.com?
Everybody's shopping at www.allijboutique.com.
Who's not shopping at www.allijboutique.com?
Nobody I know.
People in prison, people in other countries. Really, there's no reason you wouldn't shop at www.allijboutique.com. Well, there you go. See you guys next month. But first, go to www.allijboutique.com.